REST is a scheme we've been working on for about 2 years. QIT's got a long history of assessing products, from hotels to attractions to restaurants to we've done the whole lot, and we really felt there was a hole in the market in terms of the way the market should deliver, the way that all segments should be encouraged to move forward. We tried very hard at first to work with a green scheme, but we found that they were either under-resourced or unable to sort of see the pathway we'd envisioned, which was much more about responsible tourism and responsible hospitality. So REST actually means responsible, ethical, sustainable tourism. So of course it includes green, but it's all about treating your teams properly, about ethical practices, and then it is literally responsible tourism, as it says on the tin. So it's a point scoring system. You get percentages as a result. Because it transfers across segments, so you can do it at an attraction, which we've just tested it in, you can do it in a hotel. There are parts of it where the scoring mechanisms can be changed if it's not relevant to you. So then you get a score from 1 to 10 if it is relevant to you, and what we're looking at is for example, maybe waste. What are the activities you do, and what's the gap that we feel you could do? So our assessors are trained and have looked at what possibilities and also know the markets very well. So they score you on a 1 to 10 basis. If you're not doing anything but you could be doing it, you could end up with a 0. So it's one of those, it's tough, it's not easy, nobody's saying it is. But it is actually about making people, helping them to improve and moving their business forward and being as responsible as they can going forward. Literally, they need to sign up to our schemes. Just give us a shout. We can talk them through. Once we sort of got where they are and what they're trying to achieve, we'll advise them on the telephone, so they don't need to sit there and think they're going to fail. In fact, if somebody's at the beginning of their journey, they can join up, and we won't give them the mark until they hit a reasonable level, but we can initially support them in terms of getting a program in place to make them operate the best they can. And then it's a continuous improvement thing. So you get this percentage score at the end, and if you can keep improving and you can keep pushing the pace, then you get the competitive edge against people that aren't doing this and not being proactive in this area. For a long time we were operating accreditation schemes for countries, and we did the Visit England scheme until about 3 years ago. It was outsourced to us, and we very much felt that they weren't of the right time. I think the markets have changed enormously. What we need to be doing for the consumer is entirely different. This is where we felt the green schemes were falling short as well. Whilst what they were doing was great, it didn't cover the whole area of being responsible. So yeah, we started 2 years ago, spent years doing research and product development, and we've piloted it, and now we're ready to go. There are different levels, so you can, as I said, you could test it and join at the bottom and work your way up. We have a basic level accreditation, and then we do give silver and golds for people that are at higher levels and are really, leading the way, the trailblazers in responsible tourism. We've had a quiet launch, but yeah, in the next couple of months we'll really push the boat out. It has been a case of testing. It's one of those things, sustainability, as with ethics and everything else, is a movable feast. So we have to keep revisiting it. So what we've realised is we've got it to a level where we're happy with it, we understand it, but we realise that it will constantly move. And so our job is to act as a conduit to help educate people that are operators, to share best practice, to let them know where other things are happening in the marketplace and where they could improve, and help them keep raising their game so we can all do the most we can in responsible tourism. I have a fairly fluid response to this, in that I used to run a hotel that was owned by a charity that supported sustainability. So some people may have heard of Schumacher College, and greenwashing 7 years ago, if you sat in one of their courses, oh my God, it was the devil's work. But I believe there is something for all of us to be done. If you're in a 5-star hotel, there is there's research that really backs up that your customer base is probably one of those people that use more energy than anybody else. We have a job to educate those people So if the hotel is doing the most it can and communicating with the customer, then it's going to improve. Then everything's going to improve. And that works exactly the same with corporate responsibility programs. Absolutely agree. There may be some companies out there that this is a tick box exercise and all they want from their hotels is to say they're doing these things. It doesn't really matter. I mean, in the end, they'll be found out, their customer base will be more educated and will keep asking them for more evidence. Actually, as hoteliers or attractions or anybody in tourism, if we're doing the most we can, we're educating both the consumer will be educating us, absolutely, but also we can push those companies to behave better. If they start off greenwashing, do we care? As long as they get there in the end, that's my view. Anyway, definitely think in this digital age, it's different from the analog age, where we used to write brochures and things where, comfortable settees or only the best rooms were shown on the brochures. This is why the TripAdvisors of this world and the feedback sites came about, because people were lying to their customer base. We can't do that anymore. You will get called out on something somewhere with social media or with digital, and actually we should be called out if we're not doing the best we can in this market. So our accreditation isn't easy. It's not meant to be easy. It's not greenwashing. It is about helping people do the most they can, but actually recognising they need time to put some of the initiatives in place, and covering everything at once is difficult. And I guess my final point on that is I do think for corporate companies the triple bottom line will get more and more relevance in society, full stop. So investors, shareholders are going to be much more interested in this in years to come. I mean, sustainability and ethics, there's always better practice. There's always something that contradicts each other, and it's difficult for people in hospitality and tourism to find a balance. The plastic straw thing it's a great thing, but it's distracted people. So I haven't got those plastic straws. Who cares about the thousands of plastic bottles I have in my rooms? Or about the energy used to create a cardboard straw. There are contradictions left, right and centre. As I said, our role is to be a conduit to help share best practice. So people don't greenwash, but they also try and strive towards the best they can be. It won't be 100% because some sustainable measures will impact on responsible measures or ethical measures. And actually, again, it's about helping people be the best they can be. Our assessors are, I always say, they see 300 to 500 properties a year, and they know the good, the bad, the ugly. They share best practice, and that's key, because I think as an industry we can really lead this move forward and help influence consumers to stay in the UK or in Europe and do the most they can in this sustainable push. So we spent a long time, the last 3 years, really product developing and making sure we're looking at every segment. I'm a firm believer that actually all segments of tourism and hospitality there's very blurred lines these days, and they should be operating on a par. So when we did our accreditation and quality schemes, we had a framework around safe, clean and legal. And then from there we built on star ratings, which as long as you have that safe, clean and legal, which is actually in our responsible program as well. So people will be doing the right thing for their customer base in terms of health and safety and those legal responsibilities they should be covering. But the next big step, and we're actually really, really excited about this, is we're developing a wellbeing program called Wellbeing Me. The assessors are in the middle of being trained. We've got 3 pilots this month. We're going to launch at the beginning of the summer. It's really exciting. I think it fits with the times. There's bits of rest that it falls into. Alongside it, we have done a sustainable food scheme, which is about it's recognising quality, but it's much more about provenance and all of that sort of stuff. So we're sort of feeling like we've got a suite of accreditations now that works across the board for multiple different people in hospitality, operators in hospitality or in tourism, and we can really help the industry improve, and we believe that's our role anyway.